Two men, three balls, one podcast.
This is now a tetralogy. Did you know the word tetralogy?
Yes, because I've played a lot of Tetris.
Is that a link there?
Tetris has 4 pieces, 4 blocks in each piece.
That's the reason for the word Tetris?
Absolutely, Tetris.
Because this is the 4th episode, and I thought it was called like a quadrology, which apparently is a word that as well. But tetralogy is 4 distinct works of brilliance.
Of brilliance, too, okay.
Now, of brilliance is I added that, but you know.
4 distinct works, that in any case is true. Brilliance, I don't know.
Just to address the elephant in the room, there's a photographer walking around behind you.
I'm not sure if I'd call her an elephant,
Well,
but yes, there is.
No, there's an actual photographer in the room taking pictures of you while we're recording the podcast.
Absolutely. It's for a Swiss magazine called L'Illustré, and there'll be an article about our podcast in a couple of weeks, I think.
Make sure to have them post the article before you die.
I will do that. Although it'd probably sell better, their magazine, if I'm dead.
Ah, damn it. Maybe they're gambling on that.
Possibly, yeah.
But we've gotten quite a lot of attention lately, at least in Switzerland.
Well, not just in Switzerland. In Switzerland, a little bit of news attention. I did a radio interview last week, which then brought on this magazine interview that's coming. Also got a lot of attention on Reddit.
So, I'm not a Reddit person. Is Reddit the type of place that only gathers serial killers and people who have sex with animals? Or is it more?
There's more. There's a bit of that. There's a bit of everything on Reddit. I mean, there's some horrible people. There's some horrible stuff, but there's lots of great people and nice things. And I can tell you're not, as you say, a Reddit person, because we don't say a Reddit person, we say a Redditor.
That sounds sexy.
And I do a lot of Redditing. And so the other day I posted a picture of my 8 hairstyles that I did when I was cutting my hair down to this. And it got over 50,000 likes.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, people seem to like my hairstyles. A lot of the same things came up. Somebody said it looked like the whole cast of Jackass. Particularly with the mohawk, I looked like Danger Aaron. And somebody was saying, well, luckily I have more teeth than him. But he has more balls, so...
You win some, you lose some.
Exactly, I lost 1 so far.
So far.
Another great one I got was that it looked like 8 people that should have been arrested at the Capitol on the January 6th. Which is pretty much right, yeah.
Related to what you just mentioned, you lost 1 so far of the balls.
Well, hopefully it'll be the only one I lose.
Do you know anything about the odds of you getting testicular cancer in the remaining ball?
After I'm cured, you mean? Getting it again?
Yeah.
I don't know the odds. Maybe I should ask.
Because that would be bad luck, but also very good for the podcast.
Well, it'd give us a second season, that's true.
Then we'd change the name to having a...
No balls.
But yes, we're very appreciative of all the support and all the jokes.
Absolutely. Well, we did ask people on the YouTube, and we never addressed it again. For nicknames for the remaining ball, I had said Ball McCartney, and we got a few good ones. What was it, Rolling Stone?
The best one was obviously Einstein.
Einstein, absolutely. Which is funny, somebody else asked me if I were to have a threesome with 2 British girls, would that be getting 2 birds with 1 stone?
That's a good one. Also want to address the fact that you might not be able to see it, but there's like burlesque ladies on the wall back here.
Why?
Well, you know, I have hobbies. I'm at a hotel in Oslo, the capital of Norwega.
Absolutely. You might notice that I'm not in the same place as usual either. I normally shoot this at my parents'.
Are you in the afterlife?
I'm not yet in the afterlife. That'll be for season 3. A friend of mine's who has a nicer apartment than mine, so the backdrop looks better.
But yeah, you mentioned this stuff on Reddit, and it became a huge thing. And now people are picking up on it all over the world, and that is very nice.
Absolutely.
So yeah, well, I can't find my words, which leads me to the point of mumbling. Apparently you mumble.
Yes, I noticed that because people probably have noticed that now we have subtitles on the show in French for all the people watching in Switzerland or France or Belgian Congo, I guess, potentially. And so subtitling myself, I noticed that I tend to mumble and trail off at the end of sentences and have sentences that don't necessarily make that much sense until I subtitle them and try and guess what I was trying to say. Which is sort of bad because I did spend 8 years as a radio host and I do enjoy enunciating correctly and making nice sentences, you know?
So should we do it like this for the remainder of the show?
So you want to do it with a Scottish accent now?
I don't know why, I just felt like it.
People said the French accent was easy to understand, but I'm not sure about the Scottish one, you know? Which I probably just butchered.
Did you actually get feedback about the French accent? The one we will talk like this?
Not really.
Ah, for fuck's sake.
But so in any case, I will try and enunciate better and hopefully finish most of my sentences, which will make my subtitling job easier.
Leading us over to the question of the week, as always. How you doing, Joe?
Well, still pretty good, really. Although I did have, after round 2 of chemo, which ended about 10 days ago, I did have slightly more side effects than the first time. Still nothing too bad, but I had sort of... have you ever sucked on a watch battery?
All the time. It's my favorite candy to bring to the cinema.
Well, if you suck on a watch battery, you have a sort of annoying metallic taste in your mouth, which happens quite often, apparently, with chemotherapy. And I did have that for about a day or two last week. Again, not too bad. I know some people have it, and it's just so overpowering that you don't want to eat anything because everything just tastes like metal. I started getting an itchy scalp for a while, which apparently is linked to my hair falling out soon, although it still... hasn't really.
I'm close to having an afro and we shaved on the same day.
That's true. So it's possible that that it is dying, I guess one would say, or something. And I've had maybe the worst thing is I've had these cold sores on the side of my mouth for the past 10 days that don't leave.
Does it affect your speech? Is it uncomfortable to talk?
Not really. If I try to open my mouth too wide, it hurts a little bit.
There's a lot of gay jokes in there, but I'll just leave it.
Yeah, I was expecting that.
Is there anything you can drink or eat that will remove the battery-sucking taste?
They didn't actually tell me anything particular, but I have heard from somebody else who had cancer and who had very bad metallic taste that he said eating pineapple worked well.
That works for everything. Even X-rated stuff that we can't mention on this child-friendly podcast.
This child-friendly cancer show.
That's funny.
I never even really mentioned what exactly is the treatment I'm doing.
We've established that it's chemotherapy, Joe. You're tooting your own horn.
Yes, but there are many different chemotherapies, and this is a chemotherapy called BEP.
BEP?
Yes, BEP, which is an acronym, but it always makes me think of a Lode Runner, you know? BEP, BEP.
BEP, BEP, meow.
Exactly, but it's BEP, which is an acronym for the 3 main products they give me, being bleomycin. I can't remember the second one. Then cisplatinum, or platinum, is the P. And so bleomycin is the one I take every Tuesday, which is actually sort of a... what you call it? What do you take when you get an infection?
A bullet to the head.
Not a bullet to the head. What's the kind they give you like...
A rope and a stool.
No, a week of what kind of drugs do you get when you have like an infection or strep throat or something?
Antibiotics?
Antibiotics is the word I'm looking for, exactly. As you can tell, like last week with the word waste, I'm pretty bad at finding my words at times.
Yes, you are. Definitely.
So yeah, it's a kind of antibiotics is the one I take, this bleomycin I take every Tuesday, even when I'm not in the chemo week. So I did this yesterday as well. And no side effects this time, though.
All right, but we're going to have a little callback. Remember in the last episode? Yeah, because you were there. But do you remember the last episode when he fucked up the syringe and it's blah?
Yeah. So as you know, as I said, I had this syringe that I tried to inject myself with and ended up dribbling it all over myself, basically.
Uh-huh.
Doctor said, don't worry about it, I'll see you Monday. So the Monday I came in and he said, so how much of the liquid did you get in yourself? I was like, I have no idea. It's 6 milliliters, so hard to tell if I got half, a third, a quarter. He said, yeah, the thing is, it's quite important, this drug, because it's a drug to get my white blood cell count going up again, which the chemo actually makes it go down, so you need to get this shot afterwards. And I said, oh, okay, well, so what do we do? He said, well, we probably need to give you another shot.
Did you say, let's give it a shot?
I didn't. I should have.
Damn it!
I should have. I said, let's get the ball rolling.
Ah, nice.
No, I didn't. I didn't say that either. I should
Anyway,
have.
carry on.
But so anyway, he says, yeah, you probably need to take this shot again because if your white blood cell count goes down too far, you'll end up with 40 degrees fever at the end of the week and will have to be hospitalized. And I said, okay, I don't want that. So he basically said, do you want another shot? And as I've been saying the whole time, I listened to the doctors. I said, well, if you think I need it, I'll take it. Thing is, it's a $700 shot. And the insurance won't necessarily pay for 2 of them if you take them in the same weekend because it's your fault. Then luckily, about a minute later, he got the results from my blood tests and said, oh, wow, no, you must have got a ton more than you thought in your bloodstream because your white blood cell count is at 58,000 when he was expecting it to be at 8,000, which would be quite low and dropping. And so then I just continued going. I went in twice more during the week to get blood taken so he could watch out on the levels. And I never had to get the other one. So I guess I put more in myself than on myself, which is good.
That also sounds disgusting. But, I get what you're saying. So let's move on, shall we? Because we have places to be and cancer to kill. There's a fear that we might repeat ourselves. And we're aware of that. So we're constantly trying to figure out how to develop the show, how to be...
Cancer-free?
That's a good word.
That's just me. That's just me.
Yeah, I don't worry about that. We've talked a lot about the practicalities of everything, and we've learned a lot. But now we're entering the mind.
Okay, then.
We were discussing earlier when we were sort of mapping out the road of this episode. We were discussing alternative medicine. And the question is, my friend, have you considered alternative medicine?
Well, I guess the short answer is yes and no.
Very precise, my friend.
I'm more of a pragmatic person who believes in science and like just medicine. At least normally, I don't really go for homeopathy and that kind of stuff. But as you know, I know a lot of people. A lot of people are surrounding me during while I go through this. And people have offered and suggested various things. I know I have several friends who are quite religious. I'm an atheist, but they're quite religious. And people have asked me, do I mind if they pray for me? And of course I don't. Because, in any case, it can't hurt. And just for me to know somebody is thinking about me helps, I think. So anybody who wants to pray for me, go for it.
I'm going to object to that.
Go ahead.
No, it's just, if you die, and God forbid, they're going to say, well, God works in mysterious ways. We tried. And then I'll be really pissed.
Yeah, but if I survive, maybe it's thanks to them.
Or, science, medicine, $700 shots in your stomach. There's a much bigger chance of that than fairy tale creatures from Israel and Palestine 2,000 and something years ago. Anyway, carry on.
That's quite true. Otherwise, somebody else gave me this bracelet, which you can sort of see here.
Is it like a Kabbalah Madonna thing?
Kind of. It's energy stones, and I've been told to wear this to once a week. I've got to wash it to discharge it, I think.
Do you have to wash it in like the blood of dead children or something?
No, but maybe that'll work even better. I'll try that next week.
The tears of virgins, the piss of a holy cow, something like that.
It probably would help. But so far, I've just used water, not even holy water. But already during my operation, a friend of mine has his girlfriend has a group where they do shamanic incantations and stuff. And so I had to explain where my tumor was and at what time was the operation. And I don't know exactly what they did, but they did incantations while thinking of my ball. And the operation went well, so I can't say it didn't work.
That ghost sitting behind you, what religion is that linked to? He's gone now. Considering we're doing movie references, I'm getting a Man on the Moon vibe here. And to anyone who doesn't know what that is, it's the biography about the comedian Andy Kaufman, who got... What was the disease he got?
I can't remember.
I think it was like lymph cancer.
It might have been lymphoma. I think you're right, actually. And then, thing is, he basically tried to do a lot of the alternative medicine and not so much of the real medicine. And he went to see the Filipino guys who, put their hands on you and then pull out a piece of cow that they had hidden in their sleeve and say, "Ooh, I got your cancer." And it obviously didn't work because he died.
Well, we don't know that for sure. That's part of the myth.
It could be the biggest joke of his career where he's like, I'm going to pretend I'm dead for 40 years and then, haha, fooled you.
And then all his fans will be dead and he will have realized he should have waited 4 years instead of 40.
Possibly, but it would be a pretty good joke. At least commitment to the joke, that's for sure.
Have you ever considered faking your own death? Not because of the cancer, just in general?
To escape My creditors?
Or crazy ex-girlfriends?
Not really.
I'm considering it every day. I'm considering it right now. I'll be like, one moment, please, and then you just hear a thump.
And then who do I do the podcast with? If you're dead and I'm dying, this is going to go downhill fast.
It'll be 2 empty chairs and 30 minutes of silence. And like hipsters will say, it's so provocative. I like the way they're angling the silence in the room.
It reminds me of Andrew Tarkovsky.
Yes. And the comment section will be like, that's because they're dead, you morons.
At least we'll be getting comments, though.
This is true. Keep up the comments, people. It's a lot of fun. It gives us ideas and it boosts our ego.
Your ego doesn't need that much boosting, does it? You've got a pretty big head.
I do. It's massive. I still feel sorry for my mom, 37 years after my own birth.
She still walks bow-legged?
Yes, she walks in a circle with a cane.
Sorry, Andreas' mom.
She's actually a massive fan of this. She's going to be like, why are you such a moron, Andreas? I didn't raise you to do this.
She was a massive fan of this. Will she still be? Who knows? Tune in next week to find out.
We'll be dead, but she'll be here. But yeah, let's, for a second, think of this as a therapy session. First question, have you ever thought, why you? Or why me? That would be more logical for you to think. I'm thinking, why you?
It's funny, you're not the first person to ask me that. A friend of mine who also had cancer and who beat it, one of the first things he said was, don't go down that spiral of thinking, why me? Why does this happen to happen? Why did this happen? Why did this? See, there goes the mumbling again. Why did this have to happen to me? And he said that's really a bad mindset to get into. But it actually never once crossed my mind. Even literally right after I got told I had cancer, I more or less thought, for the past 25 years, I haven't had the healthiest of lifestyles. I eat a lot of crap, as you know. I don't do much sport. So I just thought, well, it's going to happen to someone. I guess it's more logical that it happens to me than someone else. And plus, as we know, most people, I can't remember the statistic, but a lot of people are going to get cancer, this cancer too. None of my friends have had it yet, so it had to happen to someone. Might as well be me, I guess.
I mean, your approach is almost too pragmatic. People are going to be like, is this an act?
It's not. It has not crossed my mind. Yeah, no.
Looking back at your life as a whole, not a whole, but a whole.
Hopefully it's only a half so far.
Oh, nice. Nice reference. You spiritual, stone-wearing moron. Your level of luck, bad luck versus good luck in life, do you have any opinion of what the ratio has been there?
I think I've been pretty lucky most of the time.
Because you met me?
That was the first thing. I remember. I saw you at the other side of the classroom and like the lights dimmed and you had wind flowing through your hair. Exactly.
Is it me you're looking for?
Watch out, if you sing that, we may have to pay for the rights.
This is true. Allô? Je te veux moi? I don't know if that was...
That'll work. I don't think Lionel Richie will figure that one out.
By the way, on a totally unrelated note, and I know that considering I'm charging by the hour as your therapist, this is not good. But we had like 3 episodes where we mainly talked about piss, as in urine, and never once did any of us say the joke, you're in trouble.
That's true.
We are morons.
Yeah, that's true, probably. Yeah, we are indeed.
Let's get back to our therapy session. The most serious therapy session anyone has ever had.
Absolutely, yeah.
So why do you want to kill your dad and marry your mom? I only took 1 year of psychology.
I can tell.
I know you're ridiculously positive and an inspiration, but have you felt any sort of blues during this?
I've sort of tried not to think about, because obviously I am aware, as I've said before, potentially this whole thing could end badly and we don't even get a final episode for the show. Obviously. That is possible. And I haven't too much thought about that, because that would not be much fun to think about.
Uh-huh.
And so, no, I've basically stuck to the positive thoughts. I'm surrounded by positive people. And so I've managed to basically avoid the dark thoughts, at least so far.
All right. But what were your thoughts about your own mortality before the cancer? Just in general, the last 10, 20 years?
I didn't think about it too much. I think I'm okay with it. I get the fact that we're only on the earth for a little while. We get born, do some shit, than die sooner or later. I haven't really thought about it much more profoundly than that, though, I must say.
Because I've thought about it quite a lot, and it sounds like I'm kidding now. But if I were to die right now, as in right now, then the only bad thing out of that would be that, you know, my parents would be kind of bummed out, and my friends would say, one less buddy to drink with. But it wouldn't have any repercussions on anything.
Well, I'd have to find a new co-host.
Well, yeah, that's the biggest problem with my death.
It would be a pretty neat twist to the show. Everybody
Yes.
expecting me to die, and suddenly you do.
Oh, yeah, that's very cool. Maybe I had cancer all along, and maybe you're the healthy one.
Exactly.
The tables have turned, my friend.
This show is written by M. Night Shyamalan, by the way.
I see soon-to-be dead people. No!
I see soon-to-be dead people, yeah. That's about it.
All right, so disclaimer, I'm not a therapist. I know we just mentioned that, but, you know, there are people out there who are crazy and...
Absolutely. That's another thing I've got to try and stop doing, I've noticed, is I say absolutely all the time.
And exactly.
That's true.
And I keep it in every time because I like repetition. I'm like a child.
I had the same problem on the radio, and I guess I never managed to get rid of it.
So, tomorrow is a very, very exciting day for you. Please elaborate, young sir.
Well, yes, as we know, I'm almost at the end of the second cycle of chemo. And that's when they're going to do a PET scan. So I already had a PET scan at the very beginning of, right before the chemo started. And they do a second one now so that they can see if the treatment is working or not. And I've actually even understood now what a PET scan is, sort of.
Please tell us your non-mumbling, medically correct description of a PET scan.
Well, there's the MRI and the PET scan. So both machines look the same. They're the big sort of donut-shaped thing that goes around you and makes some noise as it takes pictures. The MRI sends basically waves into your body, which bounce off your fat and your water. And when it comes back to the machine can make a 3D picture of yourself. And it's basically to look at your organs or your joints and to see sort of the physical stuff. Then a PET scan is slightly different. It's more to look at an organic level. So there they first shoot me up with a radioactive tracer agent.
Oh.
I may turn into Spider-Man or the Hulk after this, who knows. So they shoot this up, and then you have to sit there for an hour without moving, without reading a book, without listening to music. You don't do anything, you just have to sit there. Then I lie down in the machine, and that takes about 45 minutes of it taking these different pictures. And from that, they can tell if the cancer's good or the cancer's bad.
It sounds like a hoot.
It reminds me, every time I hear the word PET scan, it reminds me of Jeffrey Wright. You know the comedian?
Yes.
And he always had a joke about pet stores, and it's sort of the same one here. I figure I went into a room and I saw a sign that said PET scan, so I did. He did it with a pet store, but that's been making me laugh all week, and probably only me. Oh well.
This is when our audience went from, haha, this is fun, to, oh, for fuck's sake.
Yeah, I don't know if anybody knows who Jeffrey Wright is anymore.
He's a very monotone comedian who only delivers all his jokes in a brrr kind of voice.
And they're basically all one-liners. As he says, on the other hand, different fingers.
That's a great joke. Just to take it to a serious topic, cancer. The world lost a great comedian today to cancer. I don't know if you have any relationship to him, but Sean Luck, British guy, known from 8 out of 10 Cats, among other things, stand-up comedian.
His luck ran out, I guess.
Too soon! But he would have loved that joke. But yeah, he died from cancer today, 58. Just a good 18 years older than you, so you better stick in there, because I don't have the energy to mourn 2 comedic giants dying this week.
I'll try and do that for you, Andreas.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
So we're looking forward to the PET scan. It'll either be, yay, this went well, or, oh, for fuck's sake.
Yeah, my mom thought it was weird that we were recording the episode before the PET scan. She said, well, you have lots more stuff to tell after that. And I said, yeah. So that way we can end on a cliffhanger this week.
Da, 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 da.
Exactly.
So as always, we're about cancer awareness. Please check yourselves, everyone.
Absolutely. Put your hands down your pants right now.
Yes, and I mean, look for lumps everywhere. That applies to the ladies. I said ladies in a kind of sexual way. I mean, grope your titties, ladies, but in a non-sexual way.
That sounds a lot better.
Yeah.
I guess.
You know that the pink ribbon that the breast cancer thing.
Absolutely.
We're going to make the similar merch with our logo to hang under that ribbon. So it'll always be tits and balls, and it'll be some sort of unity between the sexes finally, because women have had it too good for too long. No, wait, was it the other way around?
Maybe. Apparently, for testicular cancer, I believe the color is royal blue.
Blue balls, then.
Blue balls, exactly.
Or, in your case, blue ball.
Indeed.
But I mean, it's 2021. We can have pink logos for guys.
Absolutely.
We're expanding our horizons and our amounts of genders and our amounts of fill in the blank that makes it politically correct.
Yeah.
Just one more piece of information here. I finally did some research on your condition, and it said undescended testicles is the most significant risk factor for testicular cancer. And about 3 to 5% of all little boys are born with their testicles inside their bodies, never dropping. Was that the case for you?
No.
Are you sure?
Yes. You're hoping for a more fun answer, but I don't have one.
No, I'm just wondering how they figure it out. Because they won't know. At some point, their parents are going to be like, that's a penis and there's no balls there. What the hell is going on?
Yeah, there's like an inside-out sack.
Ew. Why would you make this disgusting?
You're the one who started talking about little boys' penises, so...
In context, it
Yeah.
says they usually descend into the scrotum during the first year of life, but in some boys, the testicles do not descend.
Well, spoiler alert, even with descended testicles, you can get testicular cancer, apparently.
Cool.
Cool.
But does that mean there's a lot of little boys who get testicular cancer?
I was told it's mostly between 20 and 40 is the most common.
Really?
With it being more common on the lower side of that scale than the upper side, yeah.
Wow. That's depressing.
Yeah, I guess so.
So you got it at the very end then?
Exactly. I just snuck in at the end there. Exactly. I keep saying exactly, I'm sorry.
Yeah, and you're mumbling as well.
I'm not.
I think we've reached the end of our rope.
Pretty sure we've lost all our audience by now, so if anybody's still here, thank you. Maybe like, subscribe, share.
I think they love us more than ever. Joe, it's been a pleasure.
As always.
Good luck with the PET scan. I shouldn't say good luck. I should say break a leg, right? Or break a ball.
If I break one, I'll try to break the fake one.
Final question. You said you might turn into Spider-Man or the Hulk. Which superhero power would you most like to have if something happens with the injection of the something?
I guess the superpower to eradicate cancer from myself?
Aww. That's so sweet. I'll let you have the final word.
Touch your balls? I know I've said it already, but it is important.
It feels nice, too.
It does. You can. I think that's the final word.